You guys have been a part of the channel for a while now. You might remember back in the day I used to go find like a warehouse building to actually have a little sit down chat with you guys. So that's what I'm gonna do again. It's kind of do a throwback and let you guys know where the heck has the Mustang been and what's the plan with it. So I think you guys deserve that. I've been getting messages like, is the Mustang sold? Do you even still have that car? And so I'd like to answer all of that and give you the future plans of what is going on with the Mustang, if it's staying, if it's changing, and all the fun stuff. You guys might remember a little throwback of this view. Hard to do it one-handed. I still got to shift. I'm literally just turning with the clutch in. You guys remember my point of view like hat videos where I'd put the camera on top of my hat or on my head? I don't know where that mount is, so I'm a little rusty. Do want to give you guys a little bit of background in case you're new to the channel and started following me with the Bronco, and that is just a little background on what this car is. So this is my 2013 Ford Mustang 5.0, and this is on bags. It's got a Whipple Supercharger. I've had this GT500 front end now, and it's got everything touched pretty much. So it's got Recaros, a new steering wheel, new head unit, carbon fiber everywhere. You can see the fitment with forged wheels, yellow calipers, quad tips, carbon, right? Carbon diffuser. Everything is loaded on this car. I've touched every single thing and made this into my dream car. Before we get into where it has been and why I haven't been posting about it, I feel like we need to go back in time a little bit to my high school days, which is I used to post and dream about this car every single day. Literally just saw on Facebook a memory that I had some friends in class take photos on photo booth in one of my computer labs, and I was literally wearing a Mustang shirt, and then I was like 14 or 15 at the time. So in no position to buy this, no financial position or just maturity level to buy something like this, yet it was always, always, always on my mind. We went through a lot of fun phases with the car, one of them being the Boss 302 in a static suspension. Static meaning it doesn't go up and down like the bags. I had Coney yellows with some Eibach Sportline springs, and everything was good there. It was a really fun section of time there when I had the car at that stage. And then I started going bigger and better, which was going to bagged and boosted, where if you're on Instagram at all, every Mustang on Instagram that was famous was bagged and boosted. So that was one of my goals. We hit that goal, right? We got the Airlift 3P, we got the Whipple Supercharger. I wanted more power. Typical internet back in, the corner of your mind is saying, hey, you need more horsepower, more horsepower. At a certain point, there's too much horsepower for the street. I think we're right on the cusp of that. Currently, the car is sitting at 650 wheel horsepower and about 600 torque, and that is dyno tested here in Sacramento. And so that's a really solid number. It's nowhere near the max of what this Gen 5 3-liter supercharger can do. It can easily put out 1200 horsepower. Just my motor won't be able to take it. And it was really exciting to work with Whipple on this because I was one of maybe 4 or 5 Gen 5 Whipples on an S197. If you're not familiar, actually, let me show you. If you're not familiar with this type of supercharger, it really flipped everything on its head. It did everything down in the V. So if you can see, my pulley and everything is down below. This was a big deal at the time because it made the rotors down below rather than on top, which is where the heat exchanger is now. And this was made for an S550, yet we kind of developed and worked together to then make this on the S197. Now, I wasn't the first to do this, and I wasn't, developing it with them, but I was helping with the instruction manual, and that is all documented here on the channel, which arguably is one of my favorite memories of this car, which was installing a supercharger with some of my best friends in my own garage. Something that high school me could only ever dream about, even having the skill and know-how to even do that. Once I reached that goal of having the car bagged and boosted, I was then able to work with one of the original channel partners, Dynavan, that you guys know for the Apple CarPlay head units. Now, I was able to work with them, and they invited me to actually display the car at SEMA. And this is like every child's dream who's ever been into cars, is to have your car displayed at SEMA, which is the best of the best, top tier builds, top tier cars. Arguably, it's maybe changed over the last few years with some of the crappy builds. But for the most part, this is the best of the best. The people that show up and have their builds in the booth, they put their sweat equity into it and really go hard. And so I was fortunate enough to be invited for that. Now, my car was older. It wasn't the brand new chassis. It's not the latest and greatest, but it did still turn heads, and it made me feel really good, but it was a very stressful experience, but I wouldn't change anything for it. It was really, really fun to do that, and it'll always be another high memory with having this car. After SEMA, it was a very stressful time. I just parked the car. I stopped driving it. It had all of this stress up to running over the bumper, getting it repainted, and then going to SEMA, again, getting sick right after I got home because it was so stressful and I was just worn out. But again, I wouldn't change anything. I still just didn't drive the car. I parked it after SEMA. I just didn't want to drive it. I didn't want to enjoy it. Like, it just, I don't know, got stale. And so I had thoughts of selling it. I even had discussions with people and buyers, and ultimately they backed out, which means I kept the car. And being truthful, I just think it wasn't real at the time. You know, people were just all talk, like, I'll spend this much money and buy your car. But until it was real, I didn't really think it would ever happen, and it never did. So I guess I was right on that. More recently, I've just been driving the car and trying to enjoy it more. And honestly, it just got stale. Once I did the bagged and boosted, I was kind of like, what's next? The car is done. I don't want to add more horsepower. I don't need to change up my wheels for no reason, right? There was just no goal in mind. As I started driving this more and more, I started noticing, like, I don't have as much confidence in the turns. I don't have as much confidence to put power down. And so for that, it got me thinking about the next stage, and that's where we're at today. Next stage of this car is going to be really, really exciting. So let me walk you through it. First things first, the Whipple is going to stay. The things that are changing are going to be suspension, wheels, tires, and probably driver mod. Honestly, it's going to be me. I need to learn a lot more. I'm taking the bags off, and the reason for that is I haven't had issues with them. They've been very reliable. I'm going to sell them to somebody and hopefully get them installed for somebody. However, I just don't want the up and down anymore, and I don't need the extra functionality, because I want to go with something really, really high end as far as coilovers go, like custom built, custom spec'd coilovers, and then not slam it, make it still drivable. One of the things that I've learned over time here is I guess I've just matured from having super slammed cars into just having more drivable cars. And I honestly can, I think, blame Porsche for that. I've been really into GT3s and Porsches, or Porsche, however you want to say it. I've been really into them, and I noticed that they look amazing, but they don't need to be slammed. I think that was very high school, early college me, and I think I've just matured. It doesn't mean it's bad, it just means it's changed, my taste have changed over time. So with that, I think it's time to say goodbye to the bags. It was a great phase, great part of the car. However, I think someone else could enjoy them more than I am currently enjoying them. The next part of this is gonna be wheels and tires. I'm currently on 19s. I wanna stick with 19s because I like the way they fill the arch versus the 18s or something like that. I know that's argumentative there, but I really like the 19s look. I've done 20s, you've seen those in the past, but I wanna go 305 or 315 square with really, really sticky rubber. And that's gonna be a very aggressive tire setup, almost track inspired. However, I'm making this more so for the street in what they call HPDE, which is high performance driving experience. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's really what I'm going for here. I'm gonna have sticky rubber, as wide of a wheel and tire setup as I can get, with really solid suspension. Beyond that, I have my eyes set on the Watts Link setup for the rear from Cortex Racing, and then also getting the torque arm that comes with that as well. Apparently that's supposed to help put down power, give you more confidence in turns and bumps and things like that, which is really the goal of this car. Interior is gonna stay the same. I'm really happy with the OEM Recaros. They have side airbags. They are ready for a harness and cage setup if I wanted to do that, which who knows, maybe you guys can talk me into it. And then beyond that, the steering wheel has the airbag. It's got the grips, carbon fiber. I think everything else I'm pretty happy with. I don't want to rip out the subwoofer, although I do have some things to fix there. I don't want to change the speakers or head unit or anything. I still want it to be a streetable and comfortable car. All of this is to say it's also going to need some TLC, meaning there's a few things in here that I need to fix that have just gotten old and they need servicing. One of them is kind of dumb, which is one of my fuses for the amplifier blew out because it just sat for so long, I think. So I got to fix that. But there's so many little things that I'm going to be working on. And all of this is to say that the Mustang is coming back to the channel. We've got a good amount of content planned and lined up. I'm talking with some manufacturers of coilovers to build a custom setup for this car. Then I'm going to be ordering wheels and tires, setting it all up, showing you and reviewing. But I also want to bring back the point of view driving videos, which if you guys know the whole origins of this, that is how I started daydreaming about owning this car. And now I'm doing the exact same thing, watching people drive the dream Porsche or Porsche that I really want. I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm watching them with point of view. So if you have any topics or have anything that you want to see, leave a comment down below. I'd love to make note of that so that way I can bring you a specific video on exactly what it is that you guys as the audience want to see. We're back, baby. The Mustang is back. We're bringing back content. We've got a plan to move forward. There for a while, it just got stagnant. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know what was next for this car. Now I have a vision for it, and I wanna help get us there. And I wanna bring you guys content along the way. And it means that these wheels and tires are probably gonna be up for sale, so message me if you're interested in there. Also, my airlift is probably, well, it will definitely be for sale, so message me if you want that. But yeah, we're gonna be bringing a whole new life to this car. It's coming back to the channel, and then we'll see what's in store. Maybe it's S650 along the side, or maybe it's working towards the Porsche, right? I've been dropping those hints. I just wanna provide all of that back for you guys, because this is the car that started it all. I think that's pretty much everything I want to cover. Of course, we got more videos on the way, so anything I might have missed or any questions that you guys have, leave them down in the comments below and we can get to them in the future videos. But I feel re-inspired. I took a little break off with this car. I kind of let it sit, but I feel re-inspired to bring it back to life with a new phase, new driving experience, and share all of that alongside with you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up right here. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.